Hey, Get Speaking Gigs family, replay viewers, welcome. This is a fun video to make. It is a video of I just got off the phone with a prospect, with someone who wants to hire me as a speaker or believes they might want to hire me as a speaker. And I want to tell you how to have these conversations, okay? Someone reaches out to you, they see your website, they see you speak somewhere, they see you do a Facebook Live, I don't know. They reach out to you and they say, we're having an event. Can you tell us some information? How do you have that conversation? You get them on the phone, right? You get them on a Zoom call, whatever you prefer, and you have this conversation. Now, here's the first thing that you should be doing. Right now, you should be taking out your document, your phone script, your system that you already have in place. You do have a system in place, right? You do not just wing these conversations, do you? You know exactly what you're going to say and when you're going to say it, right? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you have a system in place. Even if it's a bad one, it's a system that as you learn throughout your career, as you find out what works and what doesn't work, as you see videos like this, you can pull out your system, compare and contrast and say, am I doing that? Would I like to be doing that? Is that a good idea that I should add to my system? It's not something that you're just going to remember. You've got to write it down. You've got to have a phone script. And I do not mean a word for word script. No. An outline, certain questions that you want to ask, perhaps, right? Do not have a word for word script because that will eliminate the most important thing about sales, the most important component in any sales conversation. And that is the human element, the human connection, that rapport. Do I know, like, or trust this person is what they are figuring out about you as part of this. Now, let me go ahead and tell you what this conversation that I had was this morning. Someone had seen me speak. They're having an event. They reached out. Got a little thing, ping, on my website saying someone filled out my contact form. I checked it out. We set up a time. We set up a time to call for a phone call, and we did. So I was on the phone with my contact and one of the senior leaders, maybe even a founder or CEO or president of the organization. It's co-president. I have his name right here. Okay. Anyway, so I'm on the phone with these people, and the question is, how do you book a gig? How do you book a 5-figure speaking gig based on a phone conversation with someone who has seen you speak before? Well, the answer in its simplest terms is questions, 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 questions. You ask questions. I like to start with a question. If it's this situation, someone's seen me speak, I like to ask the question, even if they haven't seen, just the fact that they reached out, see me speak or not, I always like to ask, what was it about my program? What was it about my website? What was it about me that makes you see me as a fit for your event? What was it that got you excited enough to fill out a form? What was it that got you excited enough to reach out in an email? What was it about me that got you excited, right? They're going to sell themselves at that point. They're going to tell you all the reasons why you're the fit, right? Now, I just looked at the clock. We're at the 3-minute and 30-second mark, so I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit and get a little less granular here, but I'm going to look at some of my my questions here and pick out just a few that I think are very, very valuable. But here's the main takeaway. Have a script or an outline, have a list of questions that you know you're going to ask, and be flexible and be willing to be human in this conversation to, to have those very important components of a transaction, and that is relationship. I posted the other day on LinkedIn. I love it when people tell me I'm in, this business is such a relationship business. That is redundant. Business is relationship. You do not need the word relationship in front of business. Business encapsulates that word relationship. If it's business, then there's relationships. So prioritize that. All right. Then I go into the general, tell me about the event. And I listen. This is another important part about being human and not looking at a script and figuring out what you have to say. You can just listen. You can write. I took notes on a little index card for each client that I have. And, I'm old school. I use index cards and I put them in different piles on my desk as far as how far along the process they are. That's what I do, right? So I write down these notes by hand onto an index card. That's how high tech I am. And I listen for certain clues. I want to know what was it about my message. And if they say things like, you were really fun on stage, you really engage the audience, then I know that they're trying to solve meeting problems. If they say things like, I really like how you touched on this, like today's call, they were like, you really hit home the idea of influence, and we have this business development initiative, and that is a perfect alignment. If there's a group of people who understand how to influence, they're going to be better at business development. And hey, guess what I'm doing right now? Teaching you how to be more influential in a business development setting. So, obviously this is a bit of a topic that's close to my heart. I do enjoy me some business development influence talks. So I hear that and I realize these are not meeting problems. These are business problems. Therefore, my solutions will align more towards that than just here's a fun, engaging presentation. I'm going to cater my proposal to what they tell me that they want, as long as I listen. All right, let me see. Other questions like that might be, how do you see my topic fitting in with your event? I always like to ask what worked in years gone by, what worked for keynotes, what didn't work, who did you have, who did you have that you really liked? And I want names there. Who did you have that you really didn't like? I don't want names for that. I want general descriptions of what to avoid. Great information at that point. I like to ask questions like, what is the expected outcome of this event, but also my presentation, right? So I like to ask those types of questions. I like to ask this question. Great. Those are great expectations. Those are great desired outcomes. How will you know if you've hit them? How will you know? And they'll answer with things like, oh, we do a survey, or, we'll measure our numbers before and after. So all of these questions, very, very important. I'm a magician, so I sometimes ask, what percentage would you want it to be entertainment? Which percentage do you want it to be content? If you had to put a number on it. And, I'll get a wide range of answers. But again, it gives me clues. Are they looking to solve meeting problems, event problems? Keep people engaged, put butts in seats, have people give rave reviews about the event? Or are they looking to solve business problems, which in my proposal, there's going to be a more robust suite of solutions offered, because I can help in a deep way to help their people with business development. I can do a lot of stuff. If they want just the meeting and the meeting to go off as a success, that's just one shot deal, right? But if they have all of these business development goals, I can come alongside their people in multiple ways: keynotes, breakouts, workshops, ongoing trainings, books, all kinds of different things that I can do to support them. All right. Gosh, there's so many more questions that I will ask after the gig is booked. And I will, just to help cater the message more to them. Thanks, Mark. Awesome stuff, Tim David. That's why I love being a member of Get Speaking Gigs. Thank you in advance for all you continue to deliver. Thank you in advance, right from my book. Well done, Mark. So once again, what happened in this conversation, and I'm looking at my notes here to see if there's anything specific, because I know when I was starting out, I wanted somebody to, if it was ethical, I would record the conversation and share it with you. Like, I just don't feel that's 100%, I don't know, ethical, I guess, unless I could tell, I don't know, I'll figure something out. But I did on one of my courses, I did record a call, a prep call after they booked me, and I recorded the entire thing, but I got permission. I said, is it okay if I record this call for training purposes? And it was for training purposes for my Get Speaking Gigs family. We've grown so much, though. I don't know. I feel like we should I should be a little more careful with that. Okay, so I listened to the words that they say. This is very important. They used a few key phrases. This is a group of engineers. They like to get their boots dirty. They prefer that you work with them and not on them. These little key phrases, I wrote them down and used them later. I said, well, because you said these are engineers, and because you said they like to get their boots dirty, what about this as an option? What about we do, more of a breakout format, or tag on a breakout to the keynote? And they said, absolutely, we'd be open to that, included in the proposal, and on it goes. So that is just some quick thoughts without getting nitty gritty, without getting too granular, but still giving you some specific questions to ask any prospective speaking client. And here's the beauty of this. Where in that entire conversation did you hear me do any high pressure selling? Where in that conversation did you hear me twisting the knife and using any kind of icky feeling manipulation tactics? Zero, right? Zero. I said, create a connection with the person, be human, ask them questions and listen to their answers. Pick out certain key moments, key phrases, right? And reflect them back. That's just showing that you're listening, right? That's good active listening. It's a good people skill, not a sales skill. But isn't that the beauty of it? Ooh, relationships is business. Ooh, that's tasty. So that is the first piece. You have those conversations, you ask those questions, and then here's how you wrap up. Here's how you wrap up. Are there any other questions for me so that you can feel completely sure and confident that I completely understand your audience and your goals for this event? Do you have any other questions for me for you to feel completely sure and confident that I have a full understanding and can put together a proposal that'll fit your needs? If they say, no, we have no more questions, great, they have no more questions. And they leave with the feeling that they are completely sure and confident that I can put together a proposal that'll suit their needs, right? If they say, yes, we have further questions, then they ask those questions and I address them and we're not left wondering them. In this case, today, they had other questions. They asked them, I answered them, we moved on. I also ask logistical questions. How long do you want the speech to be? Tell me about the event, what's before, during, and after. That way I can hear, are they doing breakouts? Could I possibly pitch a breakout to them, right? And then I close with this, all right, this sounds great. If there's any follow-up, like today, there was some follow-up information. He had to get me this, he had to get me that. But I say, I'm going to submit a proposal to you, and then we'll reconvene in a week, right? So you do not mention price. You say, I'll submit it in a proposal to you after our conversation. And then you also never leave any interaction without either a yes or a no or another appointment on the calendar. Okay. So we set that up, say, okay, I'll send this proposal to you. We'll get together and I'll follow up with you after that. All right. So that is a quick conversation. Went a little over today, but hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was valuable. Mark Miller seems to think so with the awesome stuff, Tim David comment. And I appreciate comments. Of course I do. All right. That is it from me, ladies and gentlemen, for today. We will speak soon.